Growing up, I was always bullied for a lot of things. I was gay, I was overweight, I was very unhealthy, I was a control freak, and most of all, I think I just deeply wanted the approval of others. I feel like over the years, I've really had to learn to, I think in general, almost find a way to set aside my need for validation from other people and to step into the version of myself where I genuinely act in my authenticity in a way that I resonate with, in a way that actually makes me feel like me, where I step into an interaction and I walk out feeling aligned, feeling whole, feeling like I genuinely just shared a part of my character, and not just my character, but a part of my soul. When I was younger, I always got bullied for being overweight. I was always bullied for being too feminine. I always got asked if I had a weird accent, where I was from, just because of the fact that I was gay or the fact that I spoke more feminine than the average masculine guy back then. And it got to the point where I basically conditioned myself to feel like I had to speak in a lower tone in order to be accepted, in order to be liked by society and by guys and not be targeted or called out. And I feel like this really carved me into the version of myself where it was weird because when I was putting on a mask, when I was acting different from how I almost felt called to act, and when I was doing the things that I felt like allowed me to be perceived as normal, I was being accepted. People actually liked it. In fact, the people that I liked, the guys that I liked, were actually finding me more attractive by being in that more masculine light, by being more reserved and conservative in the way that I spoke and my actions. And I felt like I was never ever good enough to being just my authentic character, to being the version of me that I felt aligned with, that actually made me feel like, I was happy and I was proud to be myself. And I remember I worked at this one store and it was like an acai bowl store. So I feel like, almost anyone walking in could already probably be like, what fucking masculine guy will work at an acai bowl store? But I remember we would have so many guys that would come in, and every single one of them, I would lower my voice and I would act more monotone and I would be more reserved. And even when they were sitting down eating in front of us at the counter, I would almost be sitting behind the counter with me and my coworkers, and my entire tone had shifted. My entire way of speaking and living was different because I was so worried and scared that if they knew I was gay, if they knew my voice was higher, if they knew I was more expressionate than the average guy, then it would result in me being hated on, or it would result in a nasty look or a comment. And I think my high school journey really, really pushed this narrative that I had to be more masculine, I had to act more monotone in order to be accepted. Because I remember I literally got like cornered at a snack bar one time by like this group of the football players in our high school, and they were just literally screaming at me and were asking me like, what the fuck, are you part of the LGBT whatever, like the ABCD? I was like, oh god. And I remember that the entire time I was just looking over at these two girls that were like my friends at the time. And I was like, guys, like, say something, like, help me. Like, I'm literally being fucking screamed at right now. And I'm like, I don't even know these people. And I remember they just kind of stood there and just pretended not to notice. And they literally were on their phones and they were just doing whatever. And I'm sitting there like genuinely scared. My heart was pounding. And I was like, what the fuck? And it almost clicked in my mind that me trying so hard to be this masculine, monotone, dull fucking version of my character still resulted in me being hated on. Still resulted in me being shamed for who I was, people constantly making assumptions about my character and stereotyping me into this fucking narrative that I had no part in. And I honestly just one day was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what the hell is literally wrong with me in my life? Because I was just like, why am I being hated on? It was like, I had another friend at this time, and me and him are still very close friends. And he acted in his full authenticity, and he's gay too. And he literally is always saying the craziest, ratchetest shit. He is always such high energy. He's a girl's girl. And like, he is always just so fun. And he never had any one of these experiences. In fact, we talk about that all the time, even nowadays, where we're sitting there and we're like, why is it that, growing up, I was always hated on, I was always called out, and I was always literally like fucking hate crimed verbally and physically for being gay, but yet you literally are like 10 times more flamboyant than I am, and you didn't get a single comment, and it clicked in me. Radiating and acting in your authenticity and being confident in your character doesn't leave room for haters. It doesn't leave room for people to comment on you and make fun of you and to constantly belittle you, because you already believe in your character. You believe in the energy that you bring to the table, and people can feel that on such a radiant and vibrational level, to the point in which they know that if they fuck with you, that if they say shit to you, that you are just going to stand up for yourself, and you're going to be like, and they're going to look like the stupid one. They're going to look like the idiot for making fun of you. And it really was something big for me, because I was like, so you're seriously just saying that if I was just to act like as the person who I know I am to be in my core, and just be funny and stupid and expressionate, that people would actually A, like it more than they liked me being reserved and monotone and just trying to blend in with the shadows, and B, people wouldn't actually comment on it as much. And it was the weirdest thing ever, because during my entire like high school senior year like transition, I actually started to just act so much more in my authenticity, and I honestly just started not to give two shits about anyone, because you're a senior, you're leaving, you're barely even at school. Like, I was there for like 3 hours a day, and it was so weird because I had so many more people that loved me, that loved my energy, that wanted to be with me, and I was like, what the hell? Because I was always known as kind of just the quiet kid in the back of the room who did art, who was, who had his one and close two friends, but they were kind of the weirdos, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like senior year came around, and all of a sudden I was like the popular kid. And I'm like, even that label is just gross, because I'm like, the popular. But anyways, and it was just genuinely such a weird transition for me, because all of a sudden when I started acting in my authenticity, in my confidence, in the character and the version of me that I knew I was, where I was expressionate, where I was having fun, where I honestly just didn't even give a fuck about other people, I started attracting the things that were genuinely meant for me. And I started attracting the people that genuinely aligned with who I wanted to be and the life I wanted to live. And the friends that I had at that time were so amazing, were so fun, were so just genuinely flamboyant, just like me. And we had the best fucking times. And yes, we looked stupid. And yes, we probably got made fun of. But honestly, as well, when you focus on your authenticity, you are focused on you and your life. You are not worried about other people anymore, and about what they think, and about how they're treating you. Because I think for me, that was the biggest thing, was that I was so afraid of being scrutinized and being judged and being tossed around and made fun of and verbally assaulted and all these things that, I was giving my power away every day. Every single time I would walk through the hallways at school, every single time I was in public with anyone, every single time I was at my job, I was constantly giving away my power to decide how I felt in that moment, to decide where I was going. And it was this constant gamble of like, okay, well, are they going to like me? Are they going to accept me? They didn't even give a fuck at the end of the day, because also acting in your authenticity, you really realize that people don't care. People care for maybe 3 minutes, for maybe 5 seconds of their damn life, and then they move on. And they might look at you, and if you were doing something cringy and embarrassing, they might look back at it and laugh at you and be stupid or whatever. But honestly, who cares? Who cares? You made that person smile. You made that person laugh. Good for you. I'm like spreading joy and love and positivity around the world. How dare you? And so, I had this emotion and this realization and this epiphany that kind of clicked in me, where I was just like, my life gets so much better when I just literally act my authenticity, when I stop caring about what these low vibrational, judgmental ass people care about me. Because I also learned about the topic of projection. And when you learn about projection, you sit there and realize that people are only judging you because they are deeply judging themselves on the inside. Because if y'all really want to play this game, if you are happy and if you are abundant and if you are living your best life, you do not care. You simply do not care what anyone else is doing. You are living your best life. It is the miserable, it is the pessimistic, it is the hopeless damn people that sit there and constantly scrutinize and judge and point out every single thing that you are doing. So, I kind of just got to the point where I was like, when people are deeply judgmental, they are just so deeply miserable. And I was like, I honestly just pity you. I feel bad for you, because I am someone that is loving and that is just pure light in my eyes. And I'm someone that is just here to have a great time, here to live my best life, here to have fun and just do what I want to do. And I'm not sitting here constantly judging other fucking people for what they're doing, for the things that they think are embarrassing. Honestly, the only people that I get like the scent of judgment from are the people that are judging themselves, are the people that don't act in their authenticity, are the people that sit there and are constantly trying to like hide how they feel, copy other people, mask their personality because they're so afraid of being judged. And as weird as it is, when you are so deeply afraid of being judged, you actually attract judgment, because it's also, you know, where your attention goes, your energy flows. And if you are constantly sitting there worried about what other people are thinking, worried about how other people are going to feel about you, then you are honestly just going to attract that in response. And it was the weirdest thing as well, because, you know, I don't know how many like maybe gay followers I have and like people that watch this content, but in the gay community, you know, just being masculine is typically just more desirable. I don't know why it is. Maybe this is just my perspective, but I always had this belief that I had to be more masculine in order to be liked. And it was the weirdest and most fucking validating, but also depressing thing in the world. Because when I got on dating apps and when I started talking to people, I acted more masculine and I was constantly lowering my voice and being like, oh yeah, whatever. And I am a deeply creative person and expressionate damn person. I'm not going to fall into this narrative of like, oh, I'm more feminine or I'm more masculine. I am just deeply expressionate. And if that lies in more feminine territory, then fucking so be it. Who cares? But at the end of the day, I sit here and I do so many things. And I have such a powerful voice on so many topics in my life. And I was always acting so reserved. And I was always acting more masculine and lowering my voice and trying to be this more likable persona. And the problem is that it worked. The people that I liked that part of me, but the problem was that I was not acting in my authenticity. And the minute that the more emotional, the more expressive side came out of me, these people were so quick to judge. They were like, what are you doing? Hello? And it was kind of sad because, you know, it's their own internalized homophobia that was projecting onto me and judging me. But at the end of the day, if I just acted from my authenticity to begin with, if I just acted like the person I wanted to be with at the start, and I was like, you know what, I love someone who's ambitious. I just want to have fun on this world. I want to do the greatest things ever, like blah, blah, blah. I'm so like passionate about this and this and this. And I love fucking Sabrina Carpenter, like all these things that I think truthfully people would have gravitated more towards that. And I would have attracted the people so much quicker, so much sooner, that would have actually aligned with me, that would have actually made me feel good in my life. Then I would, not my damn pugs screaming their damn heads off, then I would have, if I just simply started from the beginning, if I had just simply chosen to just be like, you know, I really just don't care. I'm like, I'm fun, I'm stupid, I'm cringy, I really don't care. Also, I want to kind of speak on that a little bit, because, you know, I had this one friend who we are not friends anymore. However, she would always be like, that's so cringy, that's so embarrassing. And I literally looked at her and I was like, girl, what the hell even is cringy or embarrassing? Like, what even is it? Because I think in society nowadays, everyone's like, oh, that's so icky, that's so weird, that's so mushy gushy. Like, everyone is so quick to judge literally fucking everything. And honestly, I just sit there and I'm like, what even is being cringy? You know, like, what even is embarrassment? Because at the end of the day, something is only embarrassing if you are insecure about it, in my eyes. Because I'm not insecure about my voice. I'm not insecure about my character anymore. And so, you know, I don't think it's embarrassing. I don't think it's cringy what I'm doing and, you know, the way I'm acting. I think it's authentic. I think it is just who I am at the core. And I think people that love that will gravitate towards that, because as well in society, so many fucking people are the same nowadays. Everyone wants to be so damn cliche, and everyone wants to be so normal, and everyone wants to just fit into the mold of society, and everyone likes this mysterious, dark feminine persona or just this other stuff. And it's so sad, because we need authenticity. We need people to stand out from the crowd, because your authenticity is what makes things beautiful. It's what makes art so attractive. It's what makes your character so magnetic. It's what makes people look at you and be like, wow, they literally bring such a powerful light into this room. This room would not be the same without them. It is what makes people genuinely fall in love with something. And this mask that you put on, it does validate you at times. It does get the attention or, you know, the admiration that you might want, because people might look at you and be like, wow, that's so cool. Like, how are you doing that? Because some people just fail to put on a mask at the end of the day, and they want to be perceived a certain way so badly. And I think it's sad, because in society, we feel like we have to try to sculpt the way people look at us and the way people will perceive our character. And, you know, we want to be cool. We want to be sexy. We want to be radiant and magnetic and hot and so like stone cold and like detached and blah blah blah. And it's like, is that truthfully who you are? Is that genuinely who your character feels aligned with? Also, goddamn, get the but like at the get away from me, please. Oh, guys, I have such like a fear of bugs. But anyways, is that genuinely who your character feels aligned with? Is that genuinely who you want to be when you wake up in this world? And I think of like just you know, I'm all about like long-term things, and like I think it's because I have anxiety when it comes to like my future and like things being like fucking doomsday and like going to shit and stuff. But it's like, at the end of the day, do you really want to be in a relationship or even a friendship where you feel like you have to constantly put on a mask? Because in my eyes, I've done that all my life and it is exhausting. And at the end of the day, it is so unrewarding because, you know, even the interactions that you have with people where they do validate you, where they are like, wow, that's so cool, you know, I love your character, you're so monotone, and like, oh my God, how do you do that? It doesn't even make you feel good at the end of the day. It makes you feel validated, it makes you feel wanted in a certain light. But at the end of the day, when you really learn to love yourself and you, that bug fucking fly at my damn nose because it just started itching. When you learn to just love your character, you realize that people will see the same love and light that you see in yourself. Because I think for me, when I was younger, I hated who I was so deeply that I couldn't be authentic, because I knew that my authentic character was someone that I did not even like. So when I didn't even like who I was, of course I'm not going to sit there and just speak my mind as this depressing like person who feels broken and damaged and trauma, like freaking bonded and like all these things, because that wouldn't serve me. So I had to do the steps to begin to love myself, and then my authentic character could come out and shine and be genuinely beautiful. And honestly, I feel like maybe that could be taken in the wrong way. You don't really need to love yourself to be this authentic character, because I think love is such a spectrum when it comes to your character and yourself. Because yeah, like some days you really just don't like yourself. Some days you look in the mirror and you're like, why did you do that? What are you doing with your life? But at the end of the day, it's this knowing and this feeling that, you know, like you're a good person, that you love your character, that you are funny, that you are such a light in this world, that you bring such an authenticity that, you know, you make other people feel like they can be themselves too, that it's a safe and comfortable space for people. I think the biggest lesson here that I wanted to just kind of share with you guys, because I have to leave in a minute, is when you find your authenticity beautiful, other people will find it beautiful as well, and they will feel drawn to you, and you will become so more magnetic than if you were to just put on this mask and try to be invisible and try to get the validation from other people that you want so deeply. And as well, when you are authentic, you just weed everything out that is no longer aligned for you. I only have friends and family members and jobs and everything in my life that feels genuinely aligned with my character, and it's because I just simply only act from my authenticity. If I don't want to do something, I don't do it. If I don't like something, I say no. In fact, I literally got asked to go do something yesterday, and I flat out, like, I said it sarcastically, so it wasn't as, you know, like cutthroat, but I was like, no, I don't want to. And these people were eating it up and they were laughing and dying. But at the end of the day, I didn't want to, and I didn't go and do it, you know, because it is when you betray yourself, and it's when you start doing things that you genuinely know you just don't want to do, and you put yourself outside of your comfort zone, but not in a, you know, healthy, we're growing, we're doing something we're scared of type of comfort zone. But it is just genuinely, you're like, I know I'm going to be miserable. I know this is going to give me some type of trauma. I'm like, I just don't want to do it. And then you say yes, that you break that trust with yourself. That you sit there and tell yourself, you know, your opinion really doesn't matter. Your authenticity is in the back seat right now. And it's in those moments that you kind of reinforce this belief that, you know, like your opinion is invalid, your character's not respected. And I think that it's that own self-respect that really just kind of launches you to that next level. But anyways, guys, I hope that this message kind of reached you guys. I hope you guys understood what I was trying to say here. I know that this video was definitely a little bit different, but, you know, I honestly just wanted to really speak about being authentic, acting in your authenticity, because when you act in your authenticity, your life just becomes so much better, and it's so much more aligned. And yes, people are going to dislike you. Yes, people are going to judge you when you are authentic, you know, because if I had started a YouTube channel in my high school years, or if I had just all of a sudden been so much more authentic, yes, I probably would have had 10 times more haters, but as well, I had 10 times more people that genuinely loved me. I had such close and resonating friends now that genuinely love me, that genuinely support my character, that want to see me grow and thrive. While when I was acting in that monotone, like, okay, whatever, just kind of doing whatever I want, half the friends in my life I didn't even fucking care for. In fact, I literally had this whole dilemma of like, what is wrong with me? Like, why don't I deeply love people? And I'm just like, no, it's just because I just didn't like these people. Like, and that was it. That was all it was. So anyways, guys, I'm going to end now the video because I do need to go. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great day and an even better life. I hope you found this video educational. If you did not, I at least hope you found it entertaining, because that's always important. And yeah, guys, my name is 𝓩𝓪𝓬𝓱 𝓢𝓽𝓾. I know I did not say that, but it's like the title of my damn channel, so, you know. Anyways, I hope that y'all have an amazing day, and I will see y'all in the next video. Have a blessed day, loves. Have an even better life, and I will see y'all in the next one.